Bryan Fischer is the American Family Association's Director of Issue Analysis and the host of Focal Point on AFR Talk. Bryan's been on the guest before. Great to talk to you again.
Good to be back with you, David. Thank you.
So we've been covering these Republican primaries, and, I keep an eye on your show and the different interviews that you do, and I'm wondering, are any of the candidates anti-gay enough for you? Or does anybody fit the bill here in terms of what you're looking for?
Well, the question you're really asking, David, is how pro-family, how pro-natural marriage are these candidates? And
Right.
I think Rick Santorum is a strongly a defender of natural marriage. So is Governor Perry. I think those two candidates are perfectly acceptable when it comes to the issue of defending natural marriage.
Right. Now, Perry has no chance, and Santorum probably doesn't either. So, but I think Santorum at this point has been less embarrassed by debate performances than has Rick Perry. Is this natural marriage thing the new thing for the anti-gay crowd? It used to be traditional marriage, and then it turned out, well, traditional marriage a lot of times involved the selling of your daughter, and it involved, stoning your daughter if she hadn't proven her virginity beyond a reasonable doubt, and all of these things. So are you moving away from traditional now, and the new term is natural marriage?
Well, natural marriage is the term that I prefer. That's the term of choice for me.
Right.
And that's because our founders were animated by a political philosophy that sought to establish public policy that was in alignment with the laws of nature and nature's God. So one man, one woman marriage is consistent with the laws of nature and nature's God.
That seems so arrogant and just wrong when we look at the facts, because what's more natural than homosexuality amongst a variety of animal species? I mean, we have confirmation of homosexuality amongst both female and male members of, I think it's over 400 mammal species and thousands of species overall. It seems homosexuality goes back way beyond even the Bible. It's incredible how far back homosexuality goes. I can't think of anything more natural than a percentage of every species being interested in someone of the same sex.
Well, animals eat their young. You saying that's okay? We ought to take our cue from the animal kingdom? It's natural. Let's do it.
No, what I'm saying is that it has existed in nature for as long as we can imagine, and you've indicated that homosexuality somehow seems to be something that's been created and now is trying to be normalized. But if you believe in natural relationships between species, it seems there's nothing more natural than some portion of every species being homosexual.
Well, nothing more natural than certain species eating their young, cannibalizing their kids.
Do you believe literally that everything that's in the Bible is something we should do?
I believe the scriptures represent the inerrant and infallible word of God.
So then you would believe in, for example, stoning a daughter to death who can't prove she's a virgin? I mean, do you believe in that?
Well, David, you need to be a little more sophisticated in your understanding of the scriptures.
Maybe that's my problem.
That was part of what the scriptures called the Old Covenant. That was God's original covenant relationship with the people of Israel. Under the New Covenant, the provisions of the Old Covenant that are not renewed under the New Covenant are no longer in effect. And you won't find in the New Testament a reiteration of those particular principles.
I'm curious, who changed the treaty? Who changed the covenant?
Jesus Christ did.
Oh, okay. Oh, and what year did that happen?
Boy, are you asking an honest question, David, or are you being snarky?
No, I'm wondering if this seems like such a significant covenant to change from one covenant to another. If Jesus did it, I would imagine we would know when that happened. I'm honestly curious, what does the record show?
Well, David, all you got to do is read the New Testament. It's all over the place.
The year will be in there.
Well, the year of Christ's death, yeah. When he died, that's when everything changed.
The covenant changed when he died. Okay.
That's exactly right. Because it's when Christ died that you and I, David, gained the possibility of receiving forgiveness for our sins and entering into an eternal relationship with God. Everything changed on that Good Friday.
There are a number of kind of reflections and themes that have come out of our last interview when we talked to you, and one of them was that while you stated that your real issue was with homosexuality per se, that the focus of your discussion in that interview was really on specifically gay men as opposed to lesbians, and really even more specifically on anal sex between gay men. And it's interesting because many people on your side, I guess, if we are to call it a side, seem so fixated on the minutia of what two men do with each other when they claim that their focus is really the broader morality of homosexuality. But you seemed completely unconcerned with lesbians, which seems to be very common amongst anti-gay folk. Why is the obsession with gay male sex as opposed to lesbians? Do you care about lesbians at all?
Oh, yeah, and that's one of the reasons why we oppose the normalization of lesbian behavior.
Okay.
There are any number of serious mental and physical health consequences that are associated with lesbianism.
Like what?
They have a much higher rate of breast cancer, for instance. They have a much higher rate of certain vaginal diseases. They have a much higher rate of emotional problems like suicidal ideation. There's a much higher rate of domestic disturbance, domestic violence in lesbian relationships. So for their sake, we think society ought to oppose the normalization of lesbianism as well as homosexuality.
Well, the last one on domestic violence, it's actually known that lesbians have a very low rate of both domestic violence and child abuse. It's actually incredibly low. But the first ones, what diseases do lesbians have more? What vaginal diseases do lesbians have more than heterosexual women?
Well, David, if you can prove me wrong, knock yourself out.
No, I'm asking you which ones. I'm asking you which ones.
I was just well, I'm not a medical doctor, David. I was just reviewing the research on this.
Well, tell me about the research.
And it's very clear. And David, that becomes logical when you think of the kind of activity that lesbians would have to engage in order to simulate the way sex was designed to work. Things are going to have to be inserted in places where they do not belong. That becomes a vehicle for the transmission of diseases. I mean, David, it's just logical. It makes absolutely sense. Wake up and smell the coffee, man.
Well, what are they? Again, if you're not a medical doctor, maybe you shouldn't have brought up the issue of diseases at all, as opposed to bringing it up and then telling me I should figure it out on my own. But let's play it out.
Well, David, hold it. And if you're not a medical doctor, then you shouldn't have brought it up.
No, I didn't bring up the issue of diseases.
No, you did. You brought up the issue of lesbian disease. You brought it up.
No, I asked you why you didn't, whether or not you cared about lesbianism. You brought up disease.
And I do, and I explained to you why, because of the pathologies that are associated with lesbianism.
But you can't tell me any of them.
Well, if you want to give me time, I can grab a research paper right off my desk. If you give me 2 seconds, I can go find it.
But offhand,
I can read it. I can read it to you.
Okay.
You want me to get it?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah, let's do it.
All right, hang on a second.
All right. Bryan Fischer, ladies and gentlemen, looking for research on lesbian diseases that are particularly common. He is back.
Yeah, let's see if we can grab it right here for you, David, and put your mind at rest. Here are the significant risks that lesbians face, and this is according to the Gay and Lesbian Medical Association. So you with me on that, David?
Yeah.
This is not the Family Research Council. This is not Focus on the Family. This is not the American Family Association. This is the Gay and Lesbian Medical Association, the GLMA.
We're looking them up.
Quote, lesbians have the richest concentration of risk factors for breast cancer than any subset of women in the world. Secondly, lesbians have higher risks for many of the gynecological cancers.
Research why? How does lesbianism increase your risk for breast cancer? Why? I hear you reading the list.
David, don't ask me. Go ask the Gay and Lesbian Medical Association. I'm just quoting from their stuff.
But they don't tell you why.
You got a problem with it, David? Go talk to them.
I'm just asking for the logic.
David, you got a problem with it? Go talk to them. I'm just reading their stuff.
But I'm asking you, as a thinker and an analyst of the homosexual lifestyle, Bryan Fischer, when you just read lesbians are at risk for breast cancer, wouldn't you say, well, hold on a second, what are lesbians doing that exposes them to such a risk? You wouldn't ask that question?
Yeah, they're not having kids.
And that's what increases the risk of breast cancer?
Yes, early abortions and delayed first pregnancy increase the risk of breast cancer.
What evidence do you have that lesbians have a lot of abortions?
They're women. American women have abortions. Have you not been keeping track of current events, David? Are you somehow unaware of the fact that American women have abortions?
How are these lesbians getting pregnant?
Well, because a lot of lesbians, David, are very fluid in their sexual orientation. This may be breaking news to you.
Oh, I see.
A longitudinal study done by the American Psychiatric Association revealed that the average lesbian will change her sexual orientation up to 3 times over the course of a decade.
It is incredible that one of your main gripes with homosexuality is that it goes against nature and it doesn't create pregnancies, but you also accuse lesbians of having all of these abortions, which somehow they've gotten pregnant. It's really incredible.
Well, David, I just explained to you they change their sexual orientation.
I hear it. I hear it.
Repeated. They go into bisexuality, they go into heterosexuality, they go back to lesbianism.
It's very
David,
fluid.
when they're in their heterosexual phase, they can have sex and get pregnant. That's the way it works.
I follow. The last thing, because we are short on time, is last time you were on was December of 2010. And when you were on, you said, we have to fight the legalization of marriage equality. This is not a foregone conclusion that that's the direction we're going. Now, fortunately, since then, we've seen additional states legalize marriage equality. Fortunately, thank God, or whoever it is that you thank in your life. You guys are going to lose this one. I mean, it's very clear we're going to have broad scope marriage equality in this country. Where will the focus be next? Will you go back to abortion? Will the focus be preventing stem cell research? I mean, where will you try to impede progress next after you lose on marriage equality?
Well, number one, homosexuals, David, already have full marriage equality, absolute full marriage equality in all 50 states. They can get married
to a hetero, right.
No, just like everybody else can.
I heard it from Pakman. Yep.
They can get married to an adult, non-relative member of the opposite sex. They've got that right today. Nobody's taken it away from them. They have right now, as you and I speak.
Sure.
Homosexuals have full marriage equality. Secondly, this battle is a long ways from being over.
Right.
New Hampshire on Wednesday, their legislature, David, on Wednesday may vote to repeal the law that legalized same-sex marriage in New Hampshire. In 2009, the voters in Maine overturned a law that authorized same-sex marriage. This battle is a long way from over. It's by no means inevitable that you guys are going to win this one.
All right. Well, we'll keep watching it. Every time we talk, we have more marriage equality, which I think is absolutely fantastic. Bryan Fischer, AFA's Director of Issue Analysis and the host of Focal Point on AFR Talk. A pleasure to speak with you, Bryan. Always good to get your insights.
Anytime, David.
Okay. Thank you.